relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, the world is they know that, and they're jealous. And therefore they had to create another God, you know what I mean, and another way of salvation, another plan, another theme, you know, instead of you getting the land of inheritance, now promising you something
with them
that you and I can't
Mm-hmm.
even see.
Mm-hmm.
And no one has ever been there and come back or nothing. So it's quite the story, you know, and it's something that you know, that we're going to be looking at. So let's get started in our Torah portion. And I'm going to begin by opening up reading what we have in Davarim, chapter number 11. Let's go there right quick. Is this 12? Yeah, I want chapter number 11. Oh, that's 11. Okay. So our Torah portion begins. The name of it is called Ra'eh. And Ra'eh, I'm going to go over the definitions with you. I had a presentation I did like maybe 5 years ago. And I looked at it and said, you know, this might be good just for like an intro for tonight to kind of get us an idea of what we're talking about. It says this in verse 26. See, and this right here, see, was called Ra'eh. And Ra'eh is a command. It is a definite command. It's in a command form. It's in an imperative. It means that, you know, this is my command to you that I want you to take some immediate action on. All right. In the Hebrew language, which is a lot different than English, you know, you're going to get some things that you've never gotten before. Remember, I told you that there were 7 different ways that a person can say something. 7 different ways, you know, that action can happen, right? And then what they have is called a conjugations, meaning like, let me see right here. So things can happen in 7 different ways. And I think it'd be fair for me to tell you that these 7 ways are multiplied by 8 different conjugations. It's 56 different ways that something can be said. Can you believe that? There's 56 different ways, combinations of ways of things that can be said. So it's very important for us to understand the Hebrew language and understand the grammar. So when he talks about see right here, this is literally like a command. Okay. And often he said, well, I thought you said the Jewish people said there were 613 commandments. They're off. They made that number up. They decided there's 613. There's way more than 613 commandments. Okay. You know, well, there's, you know, 248 positive and 365 negative, all kind of different stuff to come up with their ideas. So I don't read any of their stuff to gain any information and knowledge from it, because I honestly know that it's contaminated. All right. It's just as contaminated as what you would call the New Testament. So you got to be careful. All right. I do read the New Testament when I have to show where they're in error and where they're wrong. Okay. If you find anything, and here's the thing, you won't find anywhere where the Creator has ever spoken to them whatsoever. Okay. Which we're going to find in our Torah portion this week. The Yah talks about if someone speaks in his name or has a dream or has a vision, or they're a prophet. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later on this week. But verse number 26, see, I'm setting before you today a blessing and a curse. When you read this in English, you're thinking, okay, it's just look, this is what it is. But in the Hebrew, it's a little deeper than just saying, see, I'm setting before you today a blessing and a curse. It actually says something a little bit stronger than that. Okay. And I'm going to explain it to you. I don't expect you to understand the verb tenses or nothing, but I'm here to teach you what it means. Okay. So 11:26 says, right here. Okay. It says, Re'eh, right here. Re'eh anoki, no thing that I am giving you. Okay. I need you to behold, look, see. Okay. Ani, meaning anoki, I am giving to you, not just setting, but giving to you before your face today, the Hayom of the Habaraka and the Ula Kwa Lala. So the understanding, you guys, is the fact that this means not only today, but it means Hayom. Okay. That in particular day was a day of blessing and a day of cursing. That's what he's setting before them, okay, is the day of blessing and the day of cursing, okay? For us, this doesn't really resonate because we don't fully understand the significance of him putting a ha on the front of this word yom, okay? Yom is a day, okay? But that ha right there is a what they call a definite article, which means I'm pointing directly to this day, okay? So this is a very significant day for the children of Israel because it is a command that's given to them that this in particular day will be a blessing and a curse, okay? And then he's going to talk about, he didn't mention any of the curses. He hasn't mentioned not one of the curses, not one, okay? So again, remember I told you when we first started reading the book of Devarim, everything that's happening in Devarim is happening on this day. This one day. He's given them everything that you read in chapter number 1 all the way to the end. It's a 1 day account. It's 1 day. So that particular day is the day that you and I need to pay attention to, because this was the last and final message before Moshe was told that he was going to die. He knew when he was going to die, and Yah wanted to give them this information, okay? So you're going to hear a lot about the blessings and the cursing later on, all right? So what I want to do before we go any further is to kind of set the foundation and the groundwork to what Ra'eh means, okay? Because it's very important for us to understand it. So Ra'eh, got my presentation right here. See right here, slideshow format. So what Ra'eh is, it means to see, it means to perceive, okay? This is not going to be your presentation for Shabbat. It's just something, like I said, I had, is to see and to perceive. And the animal that it's associated with is a bird of prey, okay? How you guys like this picture?
Yeah, that's about as wicked as the country is.
Okay. Well, what do you notice about this? Because this is a real live picture of an eagle, okay? What do you know about an eagle's vision and about their sight?
It's very clean.
What somebody say?
Yeah, keen.
Yeah, keen.
Yeah, they're very keen, but their vision is perfect. Okay, it's perfect. They can see for miles. Okay, very long distances. Okay, and so their perception is humongous. Okay, excuse me, tremendous. Okay, so they can see for miles. I don't know exactly how many miles. Anybody know how many miles they can see?
No, but I know it's more like a binocular type of vision and monocular, so they can like focus in and out.
Right. So they can focus in and out. So they have this keen sense of sight, okay, and perception. They, from what I've studied, I know that they can see their prey at least miles away. So once they lock in, okay, so as soon as they see it and they lock into it and they focus on it, the moment that they take off, there's nothing that they're going to do except for go after that target. Okay. So this is what the creator is giving us an idea about what Moshe was commanded to tell them to Ra'eh. On this in particular day, I need you to Ra'eh. I need you to pay attention and I need you to see what I'm putting before you. Okay. Not just on that day, but every day following that. Okay. I see your hand, Akoti Williams. Akoti
Yeah, I just looked it up. It says that eagle has a sight of about 8 times as a human and can see up to 2 miles.
2 miles. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. 2 miles. Okay, so they can see 2 miles. But once they take off, right, that's what they're bent on. Okay, they're bent on what they're going after. Okay, so Yah's commanding us to have this ability, okay, to see and to open our eyes and have perception, but also to have a vision, in mind. And the vision that he wants us to have is our vision, which includes our destiny. Okay. Your destiny is something that no one's going to talk to you about. Actually, they want to get rid of your destiny and tell you that you are no longer Yahweh's people. They also want to tell us that Yah has decided to change his mind about what you and I's job is going to be in the future. So they replaced us with their God, okay, and his people, okay. His people is called what? What's the name of the people that, you know, everybody wants to be included? They're called the Gentiles.
Gentiles.
Okay, which in our case they're called the Goyim, okay, which are the nations. That's the name of the nations, okay. That's the Goyim, okay. So the Goyim are the nations, and Yah has never, and I want you to hear me, Yahweh has never pulled a prophet from the nations. He has used a prophet from his people to speak to the nations, but he's never called a prophet from among them, okay? He's never done that to speak to his people. So when we have individuals who claim to be a prophet and they claim to tell us information about the Creator, you have to verify and you have to check. If you've noticed over the last couple of months, Yah has been letting us know, like, I need you to really guard and pay attention, right? And one of the things he wants us to really be able to do is to be able to see and to have vision, right, about what is going to happen, right? The eye is, like I said, an unknown bird of prey. It has a very keen sense of sight. They can see up to miles, and they're very targeted. So what does Yahweh want us to see? This is something I put in there many years ago, and I asked, well, what does Yahweh want us to see? You know, he wants us to see 11:26, which we just read. He wants us to see the blessing and the curse. Okay, that's what he wants us to see. That's what I need you to pay attention to. Okay, because this is going to be the determining factor about whether or not you will thrive or you will not survive. One of the two. Okay, so it's either a blessing or a curse. And the blessings that we have learned over the last few months is that the blessings of Yah are connected to the land. They're connected to the covenant, which we have with our father, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And also to Yah attaches a curse to the covenant if you and I are not able to fulfill the vow that we've made about us doing everything that he said, okay? So through our Torah portion, Yah had mentioned or used Moshe to mention a place called the Oaks of Mamre. Did you guys remember reading that? Let's go look at it right quick. The Oaks of Mamre. And I want to tell you a little bit about it. Okay, so it says, here you go. Yah tells us in verse number 27, the blessing, if you listen to the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim that I'm giving you today, okay, if that's where you'll get the blessing. The curse, if you don't listen to the mitzvot of Yahweh, your Elohim, but turn aside from the way that I'm ordering you today and follow other gods that you have not known. This is going to be the theme that you and I are going to follow for the rest of the week, which is to follow other gods that you and I have not known. Okay. This is what he's trying to get us to understand, that if you do anything that requires you to go after another God, you're going to be cursed. And that's what caused us to be put out of our land. It's because we decided to follow other gods. He says, when Yahweh, your Elohim, brings you into the land you are entering in order to take possession of it, you are to put a blessing on Mount Gerizim and a curse on Mount Evol. Okay. Gerizim is a place that is what they would call a place of cutting, to cut. Okay. And Evol is a place of baldness. Okay. Meaning there's nothing growing on there. It's completely ruined. Okay. So on one of those mountains, he says that I want you to bring the curse on this one with nothing and a ruin. And the other one is one of cutting. And it does have shrubs and greenery and so forth. So one is more of a growth where it has to go through development. And the other one is a complete ruin. So I'm kind of letting you know from the get-go, when you get to that place, when you cross over the Yarden River, I want you to go on these mountains, and I'm going to send a certain amount of people over on one side of the mountain, okay, to Mount Gerizim, and I'm going to tell you the other 6 of you guys of your tribes to go on the other mountain once you cross over, okay? And we can find this information, if I'm not mistaken, in chapter number 27 of Davarim, and we'll probably go there later on this week, and then we'll find out who those people are. for right now, I don't want to focus on that. Okay? But I did want to let you know that he told them that both are west of the Yarden in the direction of the sunset. In verse number 30, Ka'anan are living in the Arabah, across from Gilgal, near the pistachio trees of Moreh. Okay. This right here, the pistachio trees, according to the Hebrew, is really an oak tree. Okay. They put pistachio there. I think they're just trying to hide what's going on. And then here is this idea of Moreh. Have you guys ever heard the term Moreh used before?
Yes.
And what have you remember about it? What do you recall about a Moreh?
They're a teacher.
Yes, a Moreh is a teacher. Okay. It's a teacher. And so let's go. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, so yeah, what are you trying to open my eyes about and show me? He says, well, remember when I went and I first got your ancestor, the first ancestor that I've ever talked to, I talked to him by the oaks of Mamre or the Moreh. Okay. So let's verify. Okay. Let's verify right quick. I never like to say things and not be able to back it up with text. So, and really let's look at it. So 11, just to prove what Yah has said, let's go to 11 and you'll be brought to the land, 30, the other side of Yarden, by the way, dwelling Canaan. Okay. Here you go. The proper understanding is not a pistachio tree. Okay. It's right here. Okay. And it's called an Elone, and it's plural. Okay. And let's look at it so we can get some understanding. So Elone is this. Sounds like Elohe, but it's Elole for Elon. And an Elon is what they call a tabernacle tree, an oak tree. Okay. And it's from this idea of ayil. And ayil comes from this word ulam. But the oak trees are the strongest. Okay. They're the strongest tree, very strong, because what they have in it is that seems like Elon, right? Elon. Elon is close to Elef, okay, which is the 1,000, okay, or Aleph, okay, like Aleph Bet. It's 1,000. It means it's very, very strong. But here is saying that it has to do with the porch, but it has to do with the oak trees, okay? So when Yah first introduces himself to our ancestor, Abraham, he takes him to a place of the Alon, okay? He takes him to Alon. And he also takes him to the place of the Alon, the oak trees of Moreh, okay? And Moreh is, as Aki had said, it's a teacher, okay? So it means to teach, okay? But the oaks are strength, okay? They're strong. It's a very strong tree, okay? So strong teacher, okay? So listen where we're going to go. We're going to go to Genesis chapter number 12 and see what the Creator said, okay? I believe the Most High is wanting to bring us back to the first place that he spoke to our ancestors, because chapter number 12 goes into detail about, where the place, when you get to this place that I'm sending you, you need to do X, Y, and Z, okay, which is called a makom. So in chapter number 12 of Bereshith, which they call Genesis in English, this is what Yahweh said. And I'll start in verse number 1, so we'll get context. Now, Yahweh said to Avram, before he changed his name, get yourself out of your country, away from your, forgive the ads, sorry about that. Get yourself away from your kinsmen, okay, and away from your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse anyone who curses you. And by all the families of the earth will be, and by you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. Do you see the connection between when Yah just told us in Davarim, chapter number 11, that he begins by saying, Re'eh, today I am setting before you a blessing, and today I'm setting you before a curse. So when I went to this chapter, I was like, whoa, you're mentioning the blessing and the curse again, right here. This is the first time he mentions it. Okay. So this is significant. And so let's continue to read. So Yah has said, I'm going to bless those who bless you, and I will curse anyone who curses you. Okay. And by you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. That term blessed, okay, Baruch, does not mean, it doesn't mean things. Okay. It doesn't mean blessing of things. It actually means that they're going to bend their knee to you. If you guys watch the Game of Thrones, one of the things they talk about, are you going to bend the knee? Okay. So the nations of the earth and the families of the earth are going to come and they're going to bend their knees, because the root word for bless is called Baruch. And Baruch means to bend the knee. It has to do with your knee. And you bend your knee when you come and you kneel. You have to bend your knee when you're kneeling down, okay, to what? To worship or show some type of homage, okay, and show some respect, okay? So this is what Yah is saying. So this is what he's talking about, okay? And the reason why he's using Abraham to do this is because this is the family in which Yahweh has chose to use to go to all the nations, which that's the reason why we're here. Yah has decided to use the children of Israel, which are the descendants of Abraham, to scatter us all through the four corners of the earth, for not only for the sake of making sure we get the curse that we ask for, but also too, he scattered us to all the different places so he can come and get us. When he comes and he gets us, that's when he will reveal, okay, himself to the world and to the nations, okay? It also gives them an opportunity to judge not only his people, but the nations for the things that they have done. So now you can see why Yah has literally scattered us. It's like a 2-for-1 deal, okay? So he's done this to us in his perfect wisdom, so he would know, okay, that all the nations will finally come to understand who this Elohim is. Remember, he said he's going to use us as an example of what not to be, okay? That's what he's going to use. We're the example to the nations, okay? Verse number 4, so Avram went as Yahweh has said to him, and Lot with him, and Avram was 75 years old when he left Haran, all right? And we're going to continue to read right quick to let us know when he's coming to that place of the Moreh, I believe, yes. And so Abraham took his wife Sarai and his brother's son Lot and all their possessions which they accumulated, okay, as well as all the people that have acquired in Haran, right, which is Koran, and they set out from the land of Canaan, and they entered the land of Canaan. So this is where they went. Avram passed through the land to the place called Shechem, to the oak of Moreh, okay? So the very place that Moshe is telling the children of Israel, okay, that they're going to pass is the very place of when Yahweh, the creator, told him to go to this place, okay, to go to the strong teacher, okay. The Moreh, again, has its root in the word Yah-Ra. What's Yah-Ra? If you are Yah-Ra, what is Yah-Ra? Yah-Ra.
Is it fear?
Fear. Okay. Okay. And the word for rain is called Yah-Ra. Okay. So we got Yah-Ra, we got Yah-Ra, we got Moreh. Okay. And we also got Torah, like Yah-Ra, like Yah-Ra, Moreh. It's all there. Okay. So, and it means that if you're a teacher, okay, he is the one who's pointing his finger. Okay. Pointed the finger to the Torah. This is what a true Moreh is supposed to do. A Moreh is just not a teacher to be teaching you anything that he wants to teach you. His number one responsibility is to teach you and lead you to the Torah. It actually says that the Moreh is not only one who teaches, but he's actually what you call an archer. And he shoots the arrow. Okay. So what is sin? What did I tell you about sin? What does it mean to sin?
Miss the mark.
You're missing the mark. So what is a more supposed to teach you? If he's a
mark.
He's supposed to teach you how to shoot the arrow to hit the target. You understand? Right? So put the pieces together. So he's supposed to teach you how to shoot. So you need to have a bow and arrow in your hand, but also too, what you need to have is you need to have what? What is the most important part of archery? Besides having a steady hand, what do you need? What's the most? You need aim. Where do you get your aim from?
It's sight.
You get aim from your sight, from your eyes. This is the reason why Yahweh is telling Moshe to tell us and the words that he's using. Okay. So when he wrote this, he didn't write that just for them so they can get a copy of it. It was written with us in mind. So the ones who come along later can understand and put the pieces of the puzzle together. Okay. Often we want Yah just to kind of like give us something, but Yah is really interested in someone taking the time to dig deeper to get an understanding about what he's talking about. You and I would only be able to find this out if you knew how, some of these words like moray and oak, you got to be careful and pay attention to the words that are being used, because there's codes within the Torah that direct you. If I didn't remember that the oak of moray, I would have never went to Genesis chapter number 12. I would have never done it. Okay. And what happened here is this, as we continue to read, verse number 7 said, Yahweh appeared to Avram. So the teacher, listen closely. The teacher, you're about to make me go crazy. I'm about to lose my mind up in here. It said Yahweh appeared to Avram. Is that what it said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you ready for it? Check this out. It said Yahweh appeared. Okay, check this out. He appeared to Avram. Yahweh did. Now, if you and I were to go to the Hebrew language, because remember, I've taken on the responsibility to be a teacher, but I'm your brother. So look at what he says in Genesis chapter number 12, verse number 7. Now, you can't make this up, okay? What does it say right here, the first word? Why yera, okay? That why yera is the same word. If we click on it, because it's being conjugated right now. But if we click on it, 1700, it's the same word that is for our Torah portion, ra'ah, to see. Okay, that's why I wanted to go crazy, but because I didn't see that until just now, that when he appeared to him, he showed himself in a vision. So when it said that Abraham saw Yahweh, Yahweh appeared to him, and he appeared to him in a vision. Okay, just like we got right here. He appeared to him in a vision. Okay, remember Yah said, I've appeared to my prophets in visions and dreams. Okay, so he's telling us here, I appeared to Abraham, but I appeared to him in a vision. He saw me in a vision. Just like he saw when I told him to go outside and look at the stars and count them. That was in a vision. Okay, so Yah has showed himself to our Father, and he showed himself at the what? At the look. He showed himself at the oaks of Mamre or Moreh here in a makom. This word right here is rich in chapter number 12 of our Torah portion. That's all you're going to hear is when you go to this place, when you go to this place, the place that Yahweh will choose, the place where Yahweh choose the makom. Okay. And so Yah-Ra'eh, he showed up Yahweh to Abraham, and he said something to him, which Yahweh wants to share with you and I. Remember, Yah he's the teacher. He's the one, the strong one who holds the bow and shows us how to shoot it. You understand? He's the one who's teaching us how to aim and how to have sight, because Yah doesn't want us to walk around without sight. So he says, Yahweh said to Abraham, reading from right to left, to your descendants, okay, your descendants, I will give the land, this land. I'm going to give them this land. And he built there an altar to Yahweh. Okay. Your Torah portion in chapter number 12 of Davarim, which we're going to go over again later on this week, it talks about just go ahead and tear down the altars of these other gods. Okay. And it says that when Yahweh had appeared to him, number 7,200 again. Okay. Re'eh, he appeared to him. So the point is, and in this chapter, I'm not going to read all of it, but Yah had brought me here to show me that I showed up to your ancestor and I told him, and I appeared to him in a vision. And I told him I wanted to give him this land that he's going to go to, that he's never seen before. And then I'm going to show up to him at the mount, or excuse me, the oaks of Moreh, okay, which is the strong teacher, okay. And then what he's going to do is he's going to build an altar there because that's where I appeared to him at, okay. So when Yah's asking us to get into the land and our ancestors, when you get there, what I need you to do is to go and what I want you to do to their stuff. I'm going to tell you, I need you to go and I didn't even have that in my class. What I want you to do is, there was a command that's given in Davarim 12, 1-6. And guess what the command was? I want you to go down and break down, smash, and burn and exterminate. That's the 4 things that I want you to do. Okay. And here are the things. I'm going to list them for us. Somebody tell me, if you read your Torah portion, what are some of the things that Yahweh told us to go in and break down?
Statue.
I want you to get rid of your pillars. Okay. I want you to go ahead and get rid of your wooden images. Okay. I want you to get rid of your wooden images, your Ashtoreth poles. Okay. Meaning your female goddesses, your wooden poles. Okay. I want you to get rid of the altars.
Their place of worship.
Okay. I want you to get rid of their makom, their place of worship where they did their stuff. I want you to cut down. I had it written down here was the 4 different things. Where are we? Let me see my little notes here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So here, and then I want your carved images. Okay. Because so not only did it have wooden ones, they had carved, hand carved images. Okay. So the pillars, they have a word for, which I'm not going to give you the Hebrew on it, but they have the altars. But I want you to break down the altars. That's the breakdown for that. I want you to burn the wooden poles, the Ashtoreth. I want you to burn that up. I want you to cut down, okay? Here, I want you to cut down. I want you to cut those down, those pillars. I want you to cut those down. And I want you to chop down. So one is cut and the other one is chopped. I want you to chop down those carved images, okay? But also too, want you to exterminate. I'm going to exterminate the people, but what I want you to do is I want you to exterminate the names of those gods. That's what I need you to do. Those are the 4 things I want you to do. I want you to go down, break down, smash, okay, burn and exterminate, okay, chop down, hewn down. So that's what Yah has asked us to do. You might ask yourself, well, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to understand? Somebody tell me, based on what we've read so far from when Yah had appeared to Abraham and he built an altar, what was Yah showing us? What was he trying to establish by building his altar and having his name there? What is he saying? Or what do you think he's saying?
Trying to establish his name, where the place where his name will be.
Yes. Yared. Yahweh is eliminating everyone so he can establish the land for himself. Okay. And so he had our father do this hundreds of years, at least for almost 500 years before. You understand? So when they got there, he wanted to make sure that they followed up and did these things right here. Because he's already declared that the land was going to be our ancestors and what belongs to their descendants, which is you and I. You see? So Yah had that in mind way before. So when they got there, he's only brought them there so they can pull this off for him. And he wants them to do this because once they do this, it's establishing that that land is for Yah and for his people. Okay. So literally what Yah has called us to be is you and I didn't have a slide for it, but you and I are really what you would call God killers. Okay. That's what you and I are supposed to do. We're supposed to exterminate everything and everyone that Yahweh tells us to. And it doesn't matter if you have to kill them. It doesn't mean if you have to burn them. It doesn't mean that you got to smash and tear everything down and you got to break it all down, because I want you to exterminate them. I've already made a decision to exterminate them. Okay. One of the reasons, somebody tell me, why did y'all want to exterminate the gods from this land from which you read in your Torah portion? Something that they were doing that he said that it was disgusting to him. It's an abomination.
Sacrificing the kids.
I think somebody hit it right on the nail. Who was that? Was that you, KC? You get it. They were burning their children alive, their sons and their daughters. They were burning them alive to their gods and for them. How do you guys feel about that? Huh? So do you have a problem when Yah says to go in and to exterminate these people? You have a problem knowing that he tells you to go down and break and tear down everything and get rid of their gods, and because all they've done is burn their children up. And the reason why they burn their kids up is because they felt like this is what the God required of them in order for them to get the blessings that they were supposed to get. Yeremiah chapter number 1, verses 9 through 10 tells us about Yah telling him to go to the nations, let them know I'm there to smash, break down, tear down, and build up and replant everything again. Yah has a purpose, okay, to do this. And that's in Yeremiah chapter number 1, verse 9 through 10. For the sake of time, I'll let you read that on your own. I want to give you the definition of makom, okay? Makom. Makom is what they would call, from a Hebraic perspective, it's a stalk. It's a stalk for grain, okay? And it means to rise. So it's a rising or a standing of anything. That's what a makom is, okay? In chapter number 13 of Davarim, Yah tells us to be careful about a person who will rise up, and it will tell you some things that, you know, they're not necessarily true, or they are true to them. And then as a result, I'm only doing this to find out who you are. So the reason why Yah is asking for this makom, okay, and saying, hey, listen, when you get there, I need you to tear down what the people have built up. That's what I'm asking you to do. I need you to tear it down, okay? And that's the job of Yisrael, right? And I can't have somebody tear something down if you don't understand the reason and the purpose behind you tearing it down, okay? I need you to understand what your job is. If you don't understand that, then you'll never get it. You won't understand what your destiny is and what you should be doing, okay? So here it is, going back, it says, let me see here. Guys, put your device on, get some feedback. Can you put your device on mute for me? Thank you. This is going back here, forgive me. So to stand, okay, so the kum means to stand, or someone or something that stands erect. That's what it means. And literally, it has to do with the decree. Okay, so every time they had a standing pole, or they had a standing altar, or they had a standing image, it was like they were making their own decrees. And as long as those statues and those altars and those poles were standing, it was as if they were saying that, you know, the things that they were teaching them were going to stand as if it was a word or a decree. So Yah is saying, because you guys are coming into this land and I have my decrees, I want you to get rid of everything that's standing, okay? And that's positioning itself as if it is the authority in the land. There's a new owner of the land, and it's me. And there is no other Elohim except for me. And therefore, I need you to go in and get rid of these things, okay? So in the text, it's used as the place, Okay. And so Yahweh talks about the Makom in chapter number 12 and says, hey, everywhere that you will go and place my name, that's where my name is going to be. But like when Abraham had made that altar, he put Yahweh's name on the altar. You understand? He made sure that it was Yahweh's altar. Yahweh's altar could not be built with what? Somebody tell me some of the restrictions or guidelines on how you were to build an altar for Yahweh. Anybody know?
Can't use hewn stones.
Yes, you cannot use any stones that have been cut with the tool. Thank you, Mark. You can never use a tool on any of Yahweh's altars. Okay, nobody can use. And the reason for that, does anyone know the reason, Mark? Do you know the reason why he says you can't use a tool on his thing? No tools, no sharp.
I mean, what he said is it defiles it. It's like,
yeah, it defiles it. Perfect. But also too, understand that the stones, okay, that you get and you put them on one of each other, it is a reminder of the mountain of Mount Sinai, where the Torah was given. It's an altar in its most natural state. So what a mountain is nothing but a hill full of what? Stones, all the way up. And it's all natural. It's never been formed by the hand of a man. And it goes back to talk about Yah's his creative work. So if you were to put a tool to something, that means that now you become the creator of it. And therefore you defile it because Yah made it the way that he made it. And he's asking us not to put a tool to it because you defile his work. See, so anytime the fire would hit, the first place where the fire hit for them in a major way was on Mount Sinai. So every altar from that place, Yahweh says, when you make an altar to me, in any place that you make an altar to me, you do not cut a stone, you do not put a sword to it, you don't shape it, you don't mold it, you don't do any of that. You keep it in its natural state. You understand? Something that I've made. This is one of the reasons why he says that he doesn't like idols and images and stuff like that. It's because they're using their what? When I talk about an image, what do you need to make an image? It's right here in the word image. What do you need? Imagination. Hear the image in there? Okay. So imagine a nation, right? Imagination. You are now the creator and you now are making calculations. And Yah says that's a defilement because your imagination is what you think. And what you think and your thoughts about how you believe things should be. And the world that we live in was not designed and predicated upon what you and I think. And this is the problem that we're having, is that you and I think because we know how to read and because we understand words or because we understand language or because we have good jobs or because we're a man or a woman, we've been on the earth for a certain amount of time, that you and I are, we can make these types of decisions. And Yah's not looking for people like that. What Yah was looking for is a person who would walk humbly with their Elohim and understand that he is the one who's in charge. And the thoughts that he wants us to have are the thoughts that are created by our relationship with him. Because if you worship another God, you're going to start thinking like those gods. You're going to start wanting to kill your kids. You're going to want to do some of those things. You're going to cheat people. You're going to have sexual relationship with people you don't supposed to have, all kind of stuff. And that comes from the God, because we were built to worship. That's why we were created. We were created to worship the creator of the heavens and the earth. And yet we have failed to do that, right? Why? Because of our own imaginations. Okay. I asked the question, where's the Makom? Where's the place of his name? And it gives us the answer is in 2 Chronicles chapter 2, verse number 1. You can read that later on this week so you can find out exactly where's the name of that place. Where did he place his name? I want you to figure that out. Okay. I also want you to remember, and I can ask this question, what tribe did Yahweh choose to place his name? Because that's part of the Torah portion. Does anyone know? What tribe?
Yahuda.
Mm-hmm. Yehuda. So out of all the brothers and all the family, Yah chose Yahuda. Okay. Yah chose Yehuda. Okay. His name is in there. Yah. Okay. Huda. It's in there. His name is Yehuda. So, and also within that name is praise. That's why he was named that. Okay. Because his mother gave praise when she had her son. What's the order?
Judah.
What number is he? Yeah. What number is he? He's the fourth tribe. Yeah, he's the fourth. Okay. Yahudah. Okay. There are no words in the Hebrew called Jew. There's no word for Jewish. There's none. Okay. You're never going to find it. Okay. It's Yehuda or Yehudi. This doesn't exist. Okay. So you got to ask yourself some questions. Yeah. So they're the fourth tribe. And in the Psalms, it says that Yah decided to put his scepter of rulership in particular tribe. Okay. Yehuda is where his scepter is. I believe that's in Psalms 80 something, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So he's decided to have that also too. You can find Yah telling Yehuda what his responsibility and his roles were going to be in Genesis chapter number 49, where Yaakov was going to die. And he said, hey, listen, I'm going to, what? Are you kidding me? My screen is not showing.
I haven't seen it in a minute.
If you click on Dawid's like his actual picture and then click back on the little screen, it should come up because that's what I did.
Okay.
Let's see here. I was like, wait a minute. I thought I had it. Let's see here.
Come on.
I don't want you to miss it. I want you to see it in clarity. Let's see here. Here. Let's choose right here. Boom.
Maybe it's just mine buffering. It's buffering.
Oh, it's buffering? Okay. So let me stop right here. Let me share. Yeah. Go back here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was the deal. So Yehuda is the fourth tribe. Yah's decided to choose him and his family. And out of that tribe, out of the Yehuda tribe, what family did Yehuda choose? Whose family out of the tribe of Yehuda did Yahweh choose forever?
Dawid.
He chose Dawid. Somebody tell me why. Why did Yah choose Dawid?
Yeah, he had a mind of Yah, was chasing Yah.
Yeah, he had a mind. He wanted to, he bent his mind. He gave his mind over to the creator, right? And so that's an excellent answer because that is the case, okay? It says, what's the name of the city? Because Yah has given a tribe and he's given a family within it, but also too, within the tribe of Yehuda, Yah has decided to have a city. You know, what's the name of that city? Somebody look it up, 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 1. Tell me. Tell the class, what's the name of the city where Yah has placed his name? Or if you already know.
Jerusalem.
It's Yerushalayim. Yes. Okay. It's Yerushalayim. You can find that in 1 Kings chapter 8, verse number 1. Okay. So the question is what does Yahweh see? Yahweh sees a lot of things. Okay. What does he see? What do you think he sees?
He sees everything.
He said, wait a minute, let's see. Yay! Somebody got it. It's right there. So you're not making this up. Yah sees everything. So when he created these animals, right? So for example, some animals have this keen sense of sight. And so these are the different attributes that Yah has given to his creation to give us clues. Okay, I don't know if you remember when Yah says that he took Israel out, he took Israel like a what? What kind of bird? What What did he say, Dalmarine? What kind of bird did y'all? He said that he took them out like what? It's right in front of you. It's right here in your picture.
Evil.
He took them out as an eagle, and he put us on his wing. He took us out like an eagle. Do you understand? What's an eagle like? Just tell me, just off the little stuff that you know. What's an eagle like? Are they slow or what?
Majestic.
They're majestic. They're the most majestic bird. They're called the king of the birds. Okay, they're the king of the fowl of the air, and they're majestic, and they have sight, and they're very, very powerful, and they're quick.
Fly above storms.
Yes, and they're quick. But guess what? Also, you got to understand. I picked this picture to give you a clue that guess what? There ain't no joke. They're a predator. You understand? So when our creator made these animals like the lion, the king of beasts, and these are some of the images that he gives to us in a illustration about the set apart ones that are before him. These creatures have a four-headed creature, and one of the faces is an eagle, and the other one is a man, and the other one's a lion, and the other one is an ox, which is the king of domestic animals. You know what I'm saying? So you got the rulers, all these different images and imagery that tell us about Yah's mind. When you think about these animals, how powerful they are, how ferocious they are. Where do you think they got it from? They got it from Yah. You understand? So as an example, okay, of what the creator sees as right from his perspective, we don't have any time to go into that right now in 13:12 through 19, but there are some things in the Torah portion that I wanted to bring to your attention that I want you to, when you read your Torah, because this is what this is about. This class, this weekly meeting at, on Yom Shalishi and Yom Kamishi is just to talk about how to study and what to look for. How are you supposed to look for this stuff? You know what I mean? So you look at the title of the message or what is going on called Ra'eh. So what you want to be looking for is everything that has to do with the eyes, everything that has to do with perception, everything that has to do with an appearance, everything that has to do with some sense of keenness. That's what you want to look at. You want to look at, and he wants us to focus on the words that are used more than anything, like the word makom, to rise, right? Because the word makom comes from kum, and kum means to rise. So what does Yah want us to rise? What does he want us to lift up? Well, according to what he said, he has to be lifted up, okay? And therefore, we lift Yahweh up by what? Doing the altar, by bringing the offerings and those types of things. But in order for Yah to be lifted up, what has to happen? What's the opposite of lifting him up?
We have to be humbled.
You and I are going to have to tear everybody else down. Do you hear what I just said? That's the theme. That's what he wants us to see. In order for him to be lifted up, everybody else got to come down. What did he say? He said, when I show up, what's going to fall when he comes? What's going to fall? He told us every mountain will be brought low. It's everything that's standing tall, every arrogant person, everything that lifts itself up in pride and ego is going to be dropped all the way down. That's what he's telling you and I. See, and there's so much more we're going to get into later on this week, but just a little sample about what it is that Yah is telling us, okay, and what his ultimate goal is to do. And Dr. Yared had hit it right on the nail on the head, and that is to establish a place for his name, to establish his majesty and his authority and his kingship in that land with the people who are supposed to make sure that everybody else is smashed and burned and exterminated in order for Yah to be lifted up. So he's letting us know that you can't serve other gods and at the same time with me. There's no loyalty there. You got to be 100% with me. And if you put your hand on something that belongs to them and I'm going to destroy it, I'm going to destroy you right along with it. That's our Elohim, and that's what makes him great. But often nobody wants to acknowledge that part of him. They want to put that on the down low and just talk about how much he loves us. And that's where we made our mistake. You know, we've claimed that someone else is the enemy within the camp, and truly the enemy is ourselves. And it starts up here in our minds. So that's what A is is to have perception and to have vision and to see the things that Yah has placed before us. And one of the things that we looked at tonight was the Makom, the rising of his name and the raising up of his altar and the tearing down and the demolishing and the diminishing of everything else. And also too, we learn in closing that with the last 2 minutes that you and I have a responsibility to kum his Torah, to lift up his Torah, to make that rise up above, because that's the new standard. That's the image that we are supposed to place are the 2 stones, which I didn't go over tonight, which we're going to go over on Yom Kamishi. He tells us to put up 2 stones when we get over there, okay, on Mount Avel. He tells us to put 2 stones over there. And what I want you to put on there is the Torah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on Yom Kamishi. Hallelujah. Any remarks, any questions, statements?